Okay, traders, welcome. Episode 40. Connor's back with a couple nice trades going on. Connor, hello.
Scotty Manliel, how are you?
I can't believe it's 40. 40 weeks straight of trade talk.
Oh,
And yeah,
good.
it is. Now, all right, guys, so what we're going to do to start, I'm going to go over one of my trades, but first of all, risk disclaimer. I've remembered to do it. So
You're getting good at this, Scotty.
I know the last couple have actually been, you haven't had to prompt me or anything. So we're talking forex charts, guys. We're talking currency trading, investing, trading. You've got to be very careful. Connor and I are just explaining what we do. We're not professional financial advisors. We're not giving you alerts either. So please don't take this as trading advice. Learn properly. Walter Peters with his forum is extremely helpful. It's obviously nothing free is normally going to be that, unless you have a trading friend that gives you all the books for free, then maybe, but it's just a process. So be very careful. Okay. All right. So Connor, I've got up the Aussie dollar trade. I sold this 2 weeks and 1 day ago. So I sold it back here. There was a nice little bearish candle and it popped up. Yeah. I mean, the 75.2 level was supportive, and I knew 75 flat was going to be, but it came, it touched, went up again. And a few people might be seeing this going, wow, this must be frustrating, but not really. Because overall it's down and you've just got to be patient and let this thing, develop. But some people, if you find this painful, you probably need to, probably go to the lower time frames. But again, the lower time frames, you lose money very quickly as well. So be careful. But there's not a lot really to talk about. I mean, the Aussie dollar, there's no real news out. So it's a patience game, really. But Connor, speaking of trades, your pound Aussie dollar, I think we can share the screen with this one.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just share the screen and you tell me when it comes up and you can start to see my screen. You should be able to see it by now.
Just loading up now.
Yeah, okay.
Clicked it.
Good lad. It's that Western Australia to Tasmanian cable.
All right, we're
Speaking
up.
of the cable, we're not on the cable, but it does have one of the pairs. It has the Great British Pound in. Anyway, so I got in on this. As you can see, so I've put the box into two. Now, I'm not doing that to be complicated, but as you can see, here was where the real support, like resistance was, up here, and then, support down here. And it's been touching a lot. Now, I was looking for a breakout in here. However, I wanted to take this candle here into consideration. Yeah. So once it got up above this candle, okay, that's where I got in. So you can see that I've got a 1.60 there. Now, because of this candle, I wanted to put my stop loss just under that. Yeah, so nice. I think that it's got a fair, and it just took off. So I was lucky to get in where I did. We were commenting earlier how, you basically couldn't have got in any better off, really.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I got in later. I got in. You see where that second last engulfing candle is? That's where I got in. So I'm
this
much...
Or this?
177 is pretty much where I got in. So very...
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, but look, it's a good, strong breakout at the moment. If you go the daily, it's looking good. Nice. 4 hours. So I think both of us. I mean, I'm hoping, not hoping, but I'm preparing for a dip here.
Yep.
And as long as it gets, even if it gets down to here, I'm not going to worry and just takes off again. I won't worry about.
What about management of stop loss and everything? So someone's seeing this, a beginner trader will be going, "Wow, is that over a 1R that you've got currently? What's that sitting at?"
Yeah. So no, that wouldn't be 1R yet because I'll just get out my ruler. Okay. So you got to remember my stop loss is pretty low. Like I've got it pretty safe in there.
Yep.
And for some reason there's 1,000 bloody. So it's got a stop loss at 2587.
Yeah.
And at the moment I'm at like 2136.
Oh, okay. So not quite. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So not quite. But I'm expecting to stay in here for a while. You know what I mean? I'm not going for 1R, anything like this. I'm going to start to ride this tiger.
When would you move the stop loss? Is that at all touched or?
So yeah, that's a good question. So as you know, with my stats, I've got about a 50% 100% win rate on this pair, but I go for the big winners. So I look for I hope for something like a 3-to-1 or a 5-to-1, and I just go old school. I just like to trade like I'm a Neanderthal. So I'll just wait until there's a dip, and then when there's a substantial dip, I'll just put my stop loss underneath it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different to, so for instance, like with this, like if I got in here, I'd probably put my stop loss under here. You know, and so if I got in off this, and then I saw this come in there, I'll put my stop loss in there, and then I get like stopped out here.
Yeah.
But so I would look for that good old fashioned high lows, high highs, and put one underneath there, which is a bit different to my stop loss, the way I do my stop loss on my bend trade. But yeah, it's just different because I just have a different way of looking at it on the 4-hour chart, and also I'm still in the Euro Turkish lira, where I got in off.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, off this box. Okay, so it's up here, and then I should I'm just going to leave my stop loss there. I mean, I could move it under there, but I'm just moving it up that tiny bit. I'm not really worried about it. I like to give it how it works is like to give it a little bit of room to breathe at the start, and then when I start to see it going up, then I'll start to like move it right underneath there.
Yeah, makes sense. Very nice.
So I start off, give it a little bit of room to breathe. Then if it was to get up to here, I'd start to put it underneath pretty tightly. But I think I've rambled on enough about that. What do you reckon, Scotty?
Look, I like that, and it's very simple. And a lot of people confuse trading with the more complicated, the better. But that's not really the case. The problem is people complicate it unintentionally, and clearly it works. You just have to tolerate the losing trades. Like you said, a 50% win rate. So for someone to understand that if you do 100 trades, you could have like 20 losing trades in a row and be like, oh my God, it's, but that's why you have the 2% risk, and you be very strict with that. So, and you let the runners go, which is extremely important. So I think that's a good one, Connor. What I'll do, I'll get the Bitcoin chart up, and we can discuss.
I'll stop sharing the screen for us. You can just that should stop sharing, so you should be able to see your screen again.
All right, here we go, guys. So, look, for the people that do trade Bitcoin, I don't have any positions in this, so I just want to, reiterate that we're not trying to cause any, misconceptions or anything. Now, so it traded as high as 11,395, and then it was a nice little what I would call kangaroo tail, and then a huge bearish candle. Then it went down as low as 9,300. So I mean, it's like 20% in a day. That's so I'm assuming a lot of people would have had their stop losses taken out that traded. So you've got to be very careful. So if you're coming here as a total raw trader, you've seen Trade Talk, you're like, wow, how do I trade? Definitely be very mindful. So what it's going on here is this is, a bit of a tightening of the trading range, and it's either going to squeeze up or it's going to squeeze down. So what I would say is if you do trade this as a beginner trader, you have to be aware that it can get very volatile very quickly, and it's prone to manipulation like everything else. So probably don't use a stop loss, and just if you do have money, just be aware that you should trade with money you can afford to lose. So what's your take on this, Connor? If you had a position in this at 11,000?
Yeah, well, look, like we talk about fundamentally for us, we are technical traders. We look at the charts, and we don't really care about the news.
Yeah.
Because all the charts are the news, and then someone tells you what the news was.
Yes.
Does that make sense? But by the time you've got your candle up, you look on the internet and you find out what happened, but it's already done.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's basically why we concentrate on technicals. Now, in saying that, like I've been saying, I'm a bit of a Bitcoin skeptic.
Yep.
And I was saying to you before, when we were off camera, like I just don't think a lot of these people, it's becoming mainstream, and I just don't get what it is. Like, what do you buy with it? I was saying, like, no one, but people are investing in this commodity without actually knowing what it is. I said, like, what, do you go into a shop and you have 10 Bitcoin, you go and buy a 100 grand Mercedes with it from a Mercedes dealership? You can't do that. You have to convert it back into Aussie dollars anyway.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm not quite sure if people actually, there are definitely people, because there's got to be people who just joined, like, who have just jumped in and don't know what it does. Don't know where it's going to go. I just think that like you were saying, it's going to be it's got to have to start to crash. And when it crashes, it'll crash heavy. What do you think?
Well, the weekly chart it's almost so in stock trading terms, it looks like a pump. So what I mean by that is, let's say I've got $1 million, and gold mining's big in Australia. So I pay promoters, people who are soulless creatures, to pump it up. What I mean by that, they'll send out emails, they'll be promoting on Twitter, like our friend FX Karen Perry. And what it looks like is it's manipulating you. Like, it's just the weekly chart is just crazy. And now what eventually will happen is heaps of people, will start selling out because, that they're a bit concerned that it's overextended. So, it could be setting new rules. It's just crazy. The weekly chart is.
It's got to have a true value, right? And someone's got to, who's educated in it, would have to know what the true value of this Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
And when it first started out, it was 60 cents, and now it's getting towards $11,000. Like, that hasn't happened. Name another currency, because it's not gold, right? It's just a currency. Name another currency that is inflated that much. So
you're right. You can't. It's just.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure there are these people there who actually know what the true, what's the word, like, value of it is, and they're not going to tell you. They're just pumping it up, like you said. Getting people to lobby behind it almost, and then when it's time. Because, I mean, geez, it's been around for just such a short time. Does anyone know what it's really worth? Can't be worth, what would I know? It can't be worth $10,000, surely. Who knows? I'm staying away from it. That's all I'm saying, Scotty.
There's a lot of unknowns, is what it's a bit scary, is what, But like, it's interesting to talk about.
Even with a currency crash like the Frankageddon and stuff, that when that happened, they stopped pegging it against the euro or whatever. Like, you get that. You get, okay, I get a country, I get why it's going through this, or the Turkish lira at the moment, they're battling inflation. You get it. I don't get why this Bitcoin's worth this much.
No, I know. Anyway,
what I mean? Like, when there's an economic disaster, you say, and people explain why it happened, you go, yeah, okay, I get that. I do a bit of research, I get that. Yeah, I just do not get it with Bitcoin.
I've just noticed the time. That's 13 minutes. I think this is a good way to end the program. We've got the Bitcoin chart up, guys. Connor, thank you for your insights. And guys, if you've got anything to ask, please leave a comment or message us on Trade Talk Pippin on Twitter. And, feel free to ask away, guys. If you want to come onto the program, you can. More than welcome. But thanks for watching, guys. Connor, thanks for joining us. Everyone have a great session and happy trading. Bye, Connor.
Bye.
See you, everyone.